There's just so much breaking news in regards to our second stimulus check and our second stimulus package. According to the Washington Post, Democrats pressure Mitch MCConnell to give in to Trump's demand for $2,000 stimulus checks. Many Democrats are backing Trump and saying, let's do it. In a surprise video on Tuesday night, Trump said something House Speaker Nancy Pelosi could finally get behind. The proposed stimulus checks of $600 in Congress's economic relief bill is ridiculously low and should be increased to $2,000. Pelosi posted on Twitter, Democrats are ready to bring this to the floor this week by unanimous consent. Let's do it. Everybody tell me in the comments down below, do you believe that we should get $2,000 stimulus payments instead of $600 stimulus checks? Leave a comment down below saying yes or no. Now, Business Insider goes on to say that Trump just flipped a stimulus and spending bill. So here's what happens now. Trump threw a wrench into the otherwise settled stimulus package already passed by both chambers of Congress when he tweeted out a 4-minute video on Tuesday night. Trump was expected to sign the more than $2 trillion bill, which was negotiated on his behalf by Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. After Mnuchin assured Congress that Trump would sign it, Trump implicitly threatened a veto in his video, where he appeared to confuse the roughly $900 million relief package with the more standard $1.2 trillion omnibus appropriations bill to keep the government running and avoid a shutdown. Trump says he wants direct payments to get bumped up from $600 per individual to $2,000, but it's too late for the bill to be redone. Everybody tell me in the comments down below, do you believe that we will get a second stimulus check of $2,000? And will Congress, the Democrats and Republicans, will they approve Trump's $2,000 stimulus check in the second stimulus bill? Tell me what you think, everybody, in the comments down below. And before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell. On this channel is provided with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check updates, so be sure to subscribe. And let's get this video to 5,000 likes if you believe that Congress must pass more stimulus relief,
including bigger direct payments and cutting some of the wasteful spending.
The bill they are now planning to send back to my desk is much different than anticipated. It really is a disgrace. I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple. I'm also asking Congress to immediately get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary items from this legislation and to send me a suitable bill, or else the next administration will have to deliver a COVID relief package, and maybe that administration will be me.
House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer said Democrats will see if they can pass a measure for $2,000 of direct payments by unanimous consent.
According to Business Insider, Trump called the bill a disgrace and described the new round of $600 stimulus checks as ridiculously low. Instead, Trump said the checks should be bumped up to $2,000 per individual, a move at odds with Senate Majority Leader Mitch MCConnell's stance. The president was not involved in negotiations around what became the 5,500-page Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021, which passed both the House and Senate on Monday. Instead, he chose to delegate the task to Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. Yet after Mnuchin assured Congress that Trump would sign the bill as soon as possible, Trump said he would veto it unless the stimulus checks were hiked. Now, top Democrats, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer have backed the president's bid for higher stimulus checks against the wishes of the GOP's Mitch MCConnell. Pelosi has proposed to bring a standalone bill on the direct payments to the House floor, though the move can only happen with House Republican support. This makes it unlikely that the already negotiated $600 stimulus checks will get a boost. Also, considering the fact that McConnell and Senate Republicans have been widely opposed to raising the amount.
That stimulus package would provide aid for millions out of work and fearing eviction, but now all of that is up in the air with a threat from the president. This morning, President Trump signaling he won't sign that COVID relief package set to provide aid for millions of Americans.
Send me a suitable bill, or else the next administration will have to deliver a COVID relief package.
The president labeling the bipartisan bill a disgrace, demanding Congress increase the amount of those stimulus checks from $600 to $2,000. But the president's new threat coming after lawmakers have already left Washington for the holidays. And after the Trump administration had promised those checks would be in the mail as soon as next week.
Let me emphasize that people are going to see this money the beginning of next week.
Now that crucial aid on hold for millions, like recent graduate Shantae Katnisser, who says she does not know how she'll be able to support her.
Business Insider goes on to say that after 8 months of on and off talks, Congress finally agreed upon a second stimulus bill that aims to ease the ongoing economic pains caused by the pandemic. The legislation would extend federal aid programs enacted in the last massive emergency relief bill, which was the CARES Act in March, most of which are due to expire either on or in a few days before December 31st. Roughly 10 million people remain unemployed, and millions more are facing evictions and food insecurity. The stimulus will provide an extra $300 per week in jobless benefits through March, inject $38 billion into food and rental assistance, and continue an eviction moratorium until the end of January, as well as deliver one-time direct payments worth $600 per individual and per child to Americans earning up to $75,000 a year. Folks, do you believe that a second stimulus check of $2,000 must be approved by both sides of Congress? And do you prefer a $2,000 direct payment or a $600 stimulus checks? Tell me what you think in the comments down below, everybody.
How can you assure Americans that relief will come and come soon?
I predict to you we'll get cooperation. The public is not going to stand for us not doing it.
It would be really nice to get a little support so that I don't become homeless, so that I can pay my bills.
And just before the holidays, images like this, long lines at food banks from coast to coast. Democrats say they will take Trump up on his $2,000 check demand. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi tweeting overnight that they are ready to bring this to the floor this week. Let's do it. But Republicans have refused to budge on the price tag of the roughly $900 billion stimulus package. And one of the president's closest allies, Senator Lindsey Graham, calling the bill imperfect, but saying the sooner the bill becomes law, the better. President-elect Joe Biden calling it just a down payment.
And according to Business Insider, here's what will happen if Trump vetoes the bill. If Trump ultimately decides to veto the bill, Congress can force it through by overriding it. The downside is that this process may potentially delay the arrival of stimulus checks and additional aid to Americans. The president can also derail the timeline by pursuing a so-called pocket veto, where he can effectively veto the bill by not signing it within 10 days. Further complicating matters is the constitutionally mandated swearing in of the new Congress on January 3rd, in addition to the Senate majority potentially changing hands if Democrats sweep the two Georgia Senate runoff elections on January 5th. Senate Finance Chairman Chuck Grassley told reporters on Wednesday, in order to keep the government from shutting down, I've already been notified of the possibility of going back into session to override this veto.